Okay, so we are going to go over a top-down analysis and basically how to mark up your charts from start to finish. So let's hop right in. Let me share my screen. Okay, let's remove all the drawings. I feel like, let's see. I don't know, I really like to have my camera on. That way it's a little more personable, but I know that it can block certain things. Let me see. Hide thumbnail video. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to identify our monthly and weekly levels. Uh, let's, let's do that. So we're going to start close to price. Oh my goodness, what's going on with my mouse? That is a monthly. It's a monthly level. And let's find the second level. Let's see where I want here. Next monthly level. Okay. And let's get our measuring tool out. A date and range. Needs to be for forex pairs, it needs to be 500 to 1,000. And then if you're trading indices or commodities, it's going to be 5,000 to 10,000. This number right here. Okay. So what we're going to do once you find the two areas is you are just going to do this. Okay, so you're going to take it up and you're going to do it 2 times. Just to price. My mouse is acting funky. Also going to do it 2 below where we started. Okay, and then on the weekly, all you're going to do is you're going to put a line in the middle. You're just going to do this. Do that. Just keep doing that. super simple way. To find your foundation levels. I'm gonna turn my phone on silent. Okay. So that is finding and identifying your monthly and your weekly levels. And so now we need to identify the trend. For the monthly, it seems it is. Now, make that blue. Trend line. My weekly and monthly trend line are pretty much this. They're basically the same. It is the same. For 2 points, drop into the future. Like that. Now let's drop down to our weekly. And 2 points. Here. So this is how I do my top-down analysis. And then once I go down to smaller time frames, I know, oh, if it's nearing one of these monthly or weekly levels or trend lines, that is a strong area. The higher time frames is a really strong area. So it's going to take a lot of momentum, a lot of high risk news to be able to break through those areas. So we know that on the monthly and weekly that it is kind of in this downtrend formation, but also kind of in this like retracement and pullback because it's going up. So we don't really need to know about that right now. It's just marking it up and knowing that when you are near these areas, that it is a strong support and resistance area when you're near the trend line and support and resistance lines. And typically when you get around those areas, it is going to be consolidating for a little bit on the lower time frames. So let's go down to the daily. Let's see what we got going on in the daily. And with the daily, like I told you guys before, I don't identify the support and resistance zones. We are just going to identify the trend line, okay? And see what is going on in the daily. Okay, so we got 1 point, 2 point, and let's, the daily trend line is red. Okay, so we did that. And then let's go to the 4-hour. So let's identify the 4-hour trend line. what we did was we did one, two touch, drew it into the future, remember? So that is our 4-hour trend line. I know it looks a little like, oh my God, there's so many lines, but when you back out into like the 15 and 30 minute, which you will mainly be on when you're taking trades, it's not going to look this convoluted, okay? So now let's find our 4-hour zones. Zone. Mhm. Um, Remember, when you're finding zones, you're looking for the small candle that is on the left-hand side that is being broken by a strong, longer candle on the right-hand side. Let's go down a little bit to right here. This one. That's perfect. Do you see how there's the the support right there, resistance right there, resistance, support, support, resistance, resistance, broke through, support, support. So that is a really good area. And so right here, the little zone. And so that's pretty much what I do on the 4-hour. And then let's identify the 1-hour trend line. Depending if I'm doing like longer intraday trades, I'll do the 1-hour, but typically I will do the um, 15, 30 minute and the 15 minute. So let's just see. So let's reset that. So on the 1-hour, we can see that I broke the 1-hour. So if we start from there, find our 2-point, draw it into the future. And so as you can see, this was the first point. That was the second point. And then we just drew it into the future. And you can see that it's already broken right here. And it's going down and it's supporting off of this 4-hour zone. So this would not be a trade until it breaks that 4-hour zone, retest it, and then you want to take it to this trend line. Okay. Because it's a higher time frame trend line, most likely it may stop there and consolidate for a little bit. So just get out of the trade, be safe. And then once it breaks the 4-hour trend line, right, and retest, you can take it down like that for a small, trade, or if it's close to a zone, the trend line is close to a zone, then what you'll do is you'll wait for it to break both areas, retest, and then you take it down to the next zone. Okay. So it's just what your trading style is. If it's a little bit, riskier, then you can just wait for the break of the trend line and then get in, or wait. If you're a little bit more conservative, then you just want to wait for it to break the zone 2 and then take it down. Okay, now let's get back to that's a way identified the 1 hour. And now let's go to 30 minutes, see if we can see a little bit more structure going on. Let's go back to the 1 hour because we might have a top trend line that we can put on. Yeah, that would be kind of. So if we already didn't break this bottom trend line, then like in your other, your analysis on other pairs, if it hasn't done that, then you'd also have this right here, right? And that's the top trend line, because like what happens is if it did, just say that this was not here. Let me do the bar replay. Okay. So none of that is there. And you have the trend line like that. That's a little bit too steep, but in the 30 minute. So say it's like that. It didn't break anything yet. It could very well break this top trend line on the 1 hour, retest, and then go up. Does that make sense? So when you're in a situation like this, where it's basically trapping price, like just set an alarm. Can't do it in replay mode, but set an alarm on both of the trend lines, and then wait for it to break and close, retest, and then get in the trade. We'll be going over that in the trade entry. Right now, this is just top-down analysis, so let's continue on. That's pretty much it. I'm going to take off this top trend line since it already broke the bottom trend line. And that is pretty much it. It's just waiting for this area to break. And so this is a way, like when I'm doing a top-down analysis and I'm drawing the trend lines, the support and resistance on the monthly, weekly, the 4 hour, and 1 hour, or the 15, 30 minute, because it really just depends on what time frame I'm going to enter on. And we're going to go over that in the the next course. I keep saying course, the next module. So I'm not going to get into that here, but this was just to strictly do a top-down analysis. So your homework, guess what? It is to do your own top-down analysis. Just pick a pair. Beginner-friendly pairs are Euro USD, AUD USD. I trade gold, XAU USD, and also indices, mainly SPX 500. That is actually a really good like non-volatile indice pair. What are some other pairs that I would suggest you marking up on? So I would say a good zone to zone pair would be Euro USD, AUD USD, I would say GJ, so GBP JPY, CAD JPY, CAD JPY. The JPY pairs can be a little bit funky and volatile, especially when the news is coming out, and they don't really tell you when the news is coming out for JPY, but we don't trade news. So I would say right now, don't go, if you're a beginner, just stick with Euro USD and AUD USD. Okay. Like that's all I want you to mark up on and to do. Unless you already have your favorite pair, go ahead and mark it up on there. But that is your homework, is to do a top-down analysis and to mark up your chart. Okay, bye.